This time on Future Weapons. When soldiers on the ground need awesome aerial firepower, the all-new A-10C delivers.
You know you're in a war-fighting aircraft when you fly this one.
Out in the desert, there's a new assault rifle that takes knockdown power and accuracy to a totally new level.
One shot, one kill, no longer a threat.
And small boat, big target. The latest armor plating that keeps you out of trouble on the water.
It gives me cover, goes up in seconds, and it doesn't restrict the mobility of a very good craft.
I'm Mac. I spent 10 years as a Navy SEAL, and this is Future Weapons.
Its weapons can root through armor. They call it the Warthog. Actually, it's the A-10 Charlie, Thunderbolt II, and it's going to leave its mark on the battlefield for the next 20 years.
The A-10 was the first aircraft specifically designed for close air support for ground forces. But after 3 decades of battlefield action, this lethal air-to-ground platform was in need of an overhaul. That has arrived in the shape of the A-10C, Precision Engagement Weapons Upgrade. The world's greatest close air support aircraft is now even better.
That's the roar of almost 20,000 pounds of thrust. And by the time you hear it, it's already too late.
The first A-10Cs became operational in August 2007. I've come to Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Tucson, Arizona. I'm here to see the new improved A-10C in action with its multi-million-dollar precision engagement weapons upgrade.
The A-10C is building upon what has already been a great warfighting aircraft.
Colonel Kent Lafbam of the 355th Fighter Wing is base commander.
Okay, so what are some of the great things about the A-10 you wanted to keep? And then tell me about the upgrades to those things.
Well, it's right on the front side of the aircraft. You can see that the gun is a 30-millimeter cannon. That's the most powerful cannon ever put on an aircraft of any type. It's a powerful gun. We keep the gun. That is priority number one.
All right, tell me about the upgrades so you can make it even better.
Capabilities such as a data link. We'll be able to communicate easily between aircraft and headquarters about the emerging battlefield, what targets need to be struck quickly and effectively. That's one of the capabilities. Plus, we'll have the ability with this aircraft in the A-10C variant to employ satellite-directed weapons.
What's it like to fly this bird?
It's kind of like a throwback to World War II. The gun, it shakes the aircraft in a way that a 20-millimeter cannon doesn't. The smell of the gun actually joins you in the cockpit. It's a very guttural feeling. You know you're in a war-fighting aircraft when you fly this one.
The A-10's immense 7-barrel Gatling gun was built to pulverize enemy armor. But the precision engagement upgrade means the A-10C now carries 6 Joint Direct Attack Munition smart bombs, or JDAMs. The A-10's always had the ability to fly low and slow, but now it can launch guided weapons from 30,000 feet at targets 15 miles away, thanks to a new infrared targeting pod system. This upgrade means the ability to precisely detect, identify, and destroy targets just got 10 times better.
Because of the new capabilities and the fact that you're going to be able to do this at much greater ranges and from much higher altitudes, you get to deploy JDAM.
You bet. As we get that information in the cockpit, it's presented to us via satellite on that MFCD. We can spit those coordinates down here in the JDAM and be able to launch this thing and precisely engage a target very quickly.
Captain Jason Jensen is an A-10 instructor pilot for the 357th Fighter Squadron.
It's incredible. The JDAM is just this amazing munition because it's really like this is a dumb bomb.
Sure.
But not anymore. Add some fins, add some GPS navigation in the back. Now you've got a satellite bomb that you can pinpoint and drop right onto the target.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Again, another capability, the precision engagement what the A-10C is giving us. It's an outstanding weapons platform in the close air support environment, and it rocks.
But it's not just the weapons that have been upgraded. Some of the biggest changes are in the cockpit. With 14,000 feet of new wiring, a new flight control stick, and new software, the weapons control system is now fully integrated. From the outside, it looks exactly the same. But inside, it's a different story.
The great thing about the A10C versus the A10A is that we still kept a lot of our analog equipment. It makes it a little bit easier to train to because nothing from that perspective really changed. The real significant improvement, obviously, are the digital parts that they put together that have integrated all of our systems together.
Lieutenant Colonel Scott Stark is squadron commander of the 357th Fighter Squadron.
What's the major difference between the A10 Alpha and the A10 Charlie?
Okay, the biggest difference is, again, the weapon systems and how they integrate together. If you look at the flight controls, as far as all the instrumentation here, exactly the same. The real beauty of the A10C relies in these two multifunctional color displays, the upfront controller, and then the digital source management system that allows you to kind of put everything together. Now what that brings to the fight is the ability to use data link to integrate all the information that's out there on the battlefield. And also with the new stick and throttle that we have, it gives you much better control. If you think about the threats that we face in the world, the potential adversaries, and the capability of this aircraft, I believe, without a doubt, that it'll be the premier cast platform for the next 20 years.
Coming up, I get to check out the new weapons control system for myself when I fly a simulated close air support mission. I'm at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Tucson, Arizona, where I've been checking out the multi-million-dollar upgrade to the A10C close air support warplane. I've already seen some of its awesome capabilities, the 30mm cannon, its ability to drop JDAMs, and its new integrated weapons control system that makes it all possible. But as the A10C is a single-seat aircraft, pilots have to learn how to operate the new weapons control system in a simulator, and this gives me the chance to play with the bird for myself.
All right, we got you loaded up with a simulated combat load with GPUs on board, some 30mm high explosive and some rockets, and the inevitable targeting pod here in the A10C. 50 knots is our airspeed, and over on the right speed is our altitude, 2,700 feet. 20 more knots, we'll be ready for takeoff. Go ahead and rotate. 3 inches back, and the airplane's going. There you go. Gear handle out and up. We're on the north side of Tucson. We're going to stand out to the west of the airfield. We've got a enemy artillery piece sitting on the runway.
All right, we're going to take care of that then.
All right. We're currently carrying 1,200 rounds of high explosive incendiary. We've got our switches set up. Now it's just a matter of finding the target. The nice thing about the A10C with good coordinates, it's telling you exactly where to look.
How far can I engage that target?
Right now we're looking at about 3.5 miles. You could engage it from there, but we typically stay inside about 3 miles. 9,000 feet, go ahead and start shooting.
That's it. That's it. That's what we're talking about.
That was a shot.
I can't believe I get paid for this. How close is flying the simulator to actually flying the A10C?
It's very similar, very similar. The simulator does a real good job of simulating the feel of how the airplane feels. So the first time that student gets in it, he's got a really good idea of what the airplane feels like to fly it. What the digital package allows me to do is be able to stand away from the target further than what I had to in the A10A model. We're able to look down here in our right screen with the targeting pod zoomed in on the target, and from as far away as 15 miles, zoom that targeting pod in. If there's 3 guys standing there, I can tell you which guy is smoking a cigarette and which hand his cigarette is in.
That's incredible.
The upgraded weapons control system makes a huge difference in the A10C. Before, launching a laser-guided bomb required 10 cockpit switch changes. In the A10C, just 4 commands will perform the exact same operation. And with the Sniper Advanced Targeting Pod system, pilots can now identify, track, and take out targets 7 times further away.
So what was it like making that transition from the Alpha to the Charlie?
I'm not a very smart guy when it comes to computers, so I thought it was going to be tough, but it's actually very intuitive. It's easy to do. After a 2 or 3 week upgrade, you're ready to go.
Captain Britt Warren is an A-10 pilot for the 357th Fighter Squadron.
What's it like looking at everything digitally now versus analog?
The amount of situational awareness that we have, just looking at a God's eye view map, and then also these text message things that come in, unbelievably enhanced compared to what it was before. The capability of our aircraft in the battlefield with time on station, the different array of ordnance that we can provide, and the killing power of the 30mm Gatling gun, the other guys can't bring that to the fight. They've got awesome capabilities, but close air support, we're the guys they want on station.
After 30 years of incredible service, this beast of the battlefield has now entered the digital age and is ready to continue fighting for another 20 years.
And that will make the A-10C one of the longest-serving warplanes in history. Coming up, I travel to Florida and have a blast with Mercury. When you're caught in a firefight and you need extra firepower quickly, you can count on the 40mm grenade. I've come to Perry, Florida to check out the latest developments in this incredible weapon system. It's not my first time in Perry. Last year I had some fun with the Six-Pack Attack, Milcor's M32 multiple grenade launcher. It's a semi-automatic weapon that fires 6 40mm grenades in less than 3 seconds. And I unleashed the full power of the Hellhound. I got to show you just how nasty this round is. With the range of 400 yards, the mixture of explosive and shrapnel makes the 40mm Hellhound hyper-lethal. Martin Electronics is the company behind Hellhound. Now they're developing the latest generation of the 40mm grenade. They call it Mercury. The Mercury is a medium-velocity round. It's designed to reach out to nearly half a mile. This would be a massive increase in capability and doubles the effective range of current shoulder-fired 40mm rounds. Matt Eckel is part of the team that designed the Mercury round. So why did you create a round that can go 800 meters?
800 meters gives you a better standoff distance from the enemy position. You can engage them without being exposed as close to them and their weapons. Also, with the faster velocity, you can get a better aim point on close-in targets. It flattens the trajectory. You can really put the round in where you want it to be.
Time to put the new Mercury round to the test. As this grenade is still in development, I'm going to fire it from a fixed mount.
2, 1.
First up, the Mercury Flare.
You'll do the honors?
Piece of cake. Ready? 3, 2, 1. You can easily see its trajectory as it reaches out over 800 meters. Next up, the Mercury high-explosive dual-purpose round.
There it is.
How about that?
High explosive. Out to 800 meters. That's pretty impressive, man.
Where the Mercury HEDP round would excel is on the battlefield as an anti-personnel weapon with double the effective standoff range.
Well, the round can actually, by our technology, we can actually send the round farther. We get better accuracy through the release of the energy in the cartridge case system. It's a patented system developed here at MEI that releases the energy more efficiently, and with the rifling bands, they engage the rifling and seal off that barrel to get the right power you need. You're essentially creating a one-man mortar team.
That gives soldiers increased survivability on the battlefield. And with MEI's new design of the fragmentation sleeve, the round can now deliver shrapnel up to 30% further. So Mercury has the potential to be even more effective than the Hellhound.
Tell me a little bit about why the 40mm grenade is so valuable to the Marine Corps.
Well, Mac, I think it's good to any infantry organization.
Retired Major General Mark Lott knows the difference a 40mm grenade can make on the battlefield.
The 40mm is probably the largest caliber that you can man carry, that you can pack. The logistics of it are bearable for the individual soldier or Marine. Once you get bigger than that, you have all the capabilities you're looking for, but you have to have an attachment. You have to have a mortar squad attached to you. So this is giving you a full range of capabilities in the caliber that you can carry.
You're talking about being able to suppress an area very effectively.
You are. And you know, Mac, if you look at just look at the length of this range and see how far that is, that's that much distance that you're putting between the Marine or the soldier that's firing and those that are firing at him. He's outside, the effective small arms range. You always want to engage the enemy as far out as you possibly can. This system appears to give you that capability.
But however good the round, it's only as good as the weapon that fires it. Now, the M32 has been modified for special operations. Meet the XMGL. Richard Solberg knows all about maximizing Milcor's capability.
This is the M32, right?
That is correct.
Milcor USA's M32.
That is correct.
Now, I fired this one last time I was out here.
Yes, you did.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It's been around for a little while, though.
Correct.
But you've updated it.
That is correct.
The two main feedbacks we got from the operators in the field was that they wanted a shorter and lighter weapon. These guys are humping around 100 pounds. Even if it's street fighting from Humvee to Alley, you still want it lighter, quicker, faster, meaner. So we actually incorporated the weapon system by making it shorter, making it lighter, and still maintaining safety first and functionality.
That's it. And it's ready to do business, man. It is a great, mean-looking weapon system. All right. We do have a scenario here where you've got two trucks, guys driving them, and two bad guys holding AK-47s that are trying to actually shoot me over there. I will have in my hand Milcor USA's latest XMGL. Just like the M32, the XMGL can fire 6 rounds in less than 3 seconds. But it's lighter and shorter, making it an even more effective force suppressor. That means you can deliver a knockout punch time and time again. That level of firepower can make all the difference when you have to get your guys out of trouble.
This came from a Marine corporal who wrote back and described a situation where they were trying to get a medevac out. They were under fire. They happened to have a neighboring unit that had the weapon and it suppressed the fire. Not only suppressed it, but it actually moved it back where they were no longer a threat to the medevac. This corporal that relayed this story said that in his mind, it was that weapon that saved his buddy's life.
With the Mercury round in final stages of development and the very latest Milcor XMGL about to be deployed, the frontline soldier could soon have 2 new tools to put out a firefight. Coming up, a rubber boat that stops bullets. Being part of a covert amphibious mission into enemy territory is extremely dangerous. Success is all about staying stealthy and leaving no signature. The most common platform for infiltration on amphibious operations is the Combat Rubber Raiding Craft, or CRRC. It is relatively quiet, has a low profile, and the speed to move you through the infiltration phase of your mission, and it sure as hell beats swimming. The downside? You're vulnerable to attack. The CRRC is an inflatable rubber boat that can be deployed in a matter of minutes. It's a highly specialized tool used by special operations for a wide range of coastal and waterway missions into enemy territory.
The CRRC is great. You can transport it anywhere. It can carry a ton of weight, and when you're ready to go, just crank open the valve. Now you're ready for business.
Although the CRRC is versatile, it has one significant limitation. If you're caught in a firefight, the news isn't good. I've traveled to Chesapeake Bay, Virginia to see the latest developments in this clandestine craft.
The Zodiac Combat Rubber Raiding Craft was developed and has evolved to be the definitive Special Forces insertion and extraction boat.
Todd Solis is a former member of the U.S. Navy's Coastal Warfare Group 2. He's a veteran of over 300 patrol craft combat missions.
The version we're in now is the 7th evolution of that boat. It is designed to be completely inflated from a single 80 cubic foot scuba bottle It has 9 separate compartmentalized air chambers. You can deploy it from helicopters, aircraft, submarines. It is known worldwide as the definitive Special Forces operations craft.
There are some situations where the crew can be especially open to attack. And if something goes wrong, you're a sitting duck. Land-based forces have always had the ability to add armor to their vehicles. But adding 1,000 pounds of steel, not exactly ideal for a rubber boat.
You know, there's a lot of armor out there to protect Marines and soldiers. No one's really developed anything for the sailor.
What is needed is a lightweight ballistic protection system. The biggest challenge was to create an inflatable support structure to mount the armor onto the boat. The solution arrived in the shape of Armorflate, a series of high-tech bullet-resistant panels supported on an inflatable substructure.
This is the Armorflate system. Here it's attached to a Zodiac FC-530. This is the type used by the Army Combat Engineers. It's a series of high-pressure, air-holding support panels supporting pockets. The pockets can house the armor. It's inflated through a series of hoses connected to a 80 cubic feet dive bottle. You turn the valve on the dive bottle, the panels inflate, supporting the armor.
A 4-man crew can rig the system in less than 5 minutes. Pretty impressive. But how does all this affect handling?
Okay, now it's time to see it in action. Here we go.
The idea of Armorflate is great. It gives me cover, goes up in seconds, and it doesn't restrict the mobility of a very good craft.
To maximize space inside the boat, the system has been designed to lie flat on the outside until it's deployed. And the whole thing weighs in at just 200 pounds. The lightweight armor panels are made of a high-tech polymer.
This is Dyneema. It has up to 20 times the tensile strength of steel. If you want to use steel, you need a lot of it. Way too much steel for a rubber boat.
Dyneema is the world's strongest synthetic fiber. Unlike steel, it's less dense than water, which means it can float, making it the ideal material for a bulletproof boat. Time to test the ballistics. Let's face it, it wouldn't be future weapons if we didn't shoot at it.
So now we're hand inflating the inflatable panel, much like we would do with the scuba bottle actually on the boat. So therefore we get the correct pressure as it would be on the boat.
Brett Richardson is part of the team that designed the bulletproof panels.
That reminds me, it's kind of like having body armor, isn't it?
The Armorflate system acts exactly like body armor in the fact that it absorbs much of the energy, or helps the armor defeat the threat by absorbing a lot of the energy after the event.
To show just how effective the system is, we set up a comparative test. On the left is a 1/4 inch of steel plate. On the right is a sheet of Dyneema mounted in its inflatable support system. To leave an impression, I'm going to fire the AK-47.
Thank you, sir. From Russia with love, huh?
How will the Dyneema perform compared to the steel?
Now, the AK-47 is the round everybody talks about being afraid of.
Has a lot of energy.
A lot of energy. Well, we know we hit it, no problem. You can see with some pretty good holes right there.
Pretty clean.
Yeah, it definitely chews up concrete. Move through there, no problem. Now, it's time to see what happened with Dyneema. That's crazy. Look at that.
This 1/4 inch of steel plate just isn't thick or hard enough to smash the bullet and defeat the threat. Armorflate works differently. The Dyneema breaks up the round, and the inflatable substructure significantly reduces the kinetic energy, which means no penetration.
I think that says it all. 0 penetration, a little deformation, no problem. I'll just replace the panel, put a new one in if I want it.
Good to go.
The system is modular, so any damaged panels can be easily replaced. It's a great idea, but can it be deployed in a firefight? Next, I get to see the Armorflate system in action when I'm caught in an amphibious ambush. I've just seen the very latest combat rubber raiding craft with its innovative Armorflate protective system. It's designed to give the Special Operations warrior protection when they need it most.
Armorflate to me gives me two things. It gives me cover, which I'm hiding behind something a bullet's not going to penetrate, but it also gives me concealment.
Phil Nesda is a SEAL veteran of 27 years and Zodiac Special Operations Support Manager.
So if there's people on the bank, once we inflate the Armorflate, we'll be down. They won't see any heads. They won't have any targets.
What excites you most about Armorflate?
The thing I like the most is it can be applied to any boat. It can actually go on a rib. It can go on a vehicle, actually. This gives you a 10 times better chance to survive that firefight.
I've already tested the boat's handling on the water.
The idea of Armorflate is great. It gives me cover, goes up in seconds, and it doesn't restrict the mobility of a very good craft.
I took Dyneema to the range and blasted it with 4 AK-47 rounds.
I think that says it all.
To demonstrate just how the system might work in the real world, we're taking a CRRC rigged with Armorflate and putting it into an ambush scenario. Since Vietnam, the use of rubber boats has been critical in carrying out riverine operations. Imagine packing this boat with up to 8 SEALs and 1,000 pounds of their gear and getting them to a target without getting caught in an ambush.
When inserting by a combat rubber raiding craft, you gotta stay stealthy and keep a low profile.
To say you're vulnerable in this phase of a mission, well, the only thing that keeps you alive is good training, good tactics, good planning, and a whole lot of luck. In a situation like this, if nobody knows you're there, that is the best form of protection. The real test for Armorflate is under stress and pressure. When a real viable threat is facing you, can the panels provide life-saving cover long enough to get you out of the kill zone?
Right now, we've got Armorflate up because we know we're going through hostile territory. And the dangerous thing about an insertion is you never know when it's going to go wrong.
A successful ambush happens without any warning. The challenge is to provide suppressive fire from a covered position long enough to get out of the firefight. And when you're in a rubber boat, that's normally not an option. But with the Armorflate deployed, we have cover and we have some protection. So now we can break contact as fast as possible.
Dyneema and Zodiac stack every advantage in favor of the operator.
Whether you're inserting a team onto a beach or making a hasty retreat under fire, Armorflate gives you a much better chance of escaping one of the most deadly situations I could ever imagine. Coming up, an assault rifle so powerful, it's named after a legendary monster. New Mexico. Here at Future Weapons, we often find ourselves in the glare of a hotly debated issue. The thorny question of which caliber you like best in an assault rifle. To get to the sharp end, I traveled to Matrix International Security Training and Intelligence Center, deep in the heart of New Mexico. Here, amongst the rattlesnakes and wilderness, a new weapon is being evaluated that will throw a new twist into the debate. This is the Grendel 6.5mm Tactical Assault Rifle. It uses an intermediate caliber bullet, so good it's winning fans in the special operations community around the world.
In the design area, we basically say you don't shoot 6.5 bullets, you toss them in the air, they go down range on their own.
Bill is on the design team behind the Grendel.
What we really did with this, we took a cartridge, looked at a wide variety of calibers, and basically picked out a bore and bullet design that would fly through the air.
The Grendel from Alexander Arms is a retrofit upgrade for the M16 M4 rifle. It consists of a new cartridge, magazine, and upper receiver. Here's the bullet of the 5.56. It's a good round doing a good job overseas. But this is the 6.5. It gives you almost double the capability, and they use about the same amount of powder. Designed in 1957, the M16 is based on the theory that a bunch of smaller, accurate rounds are more effective on the battlefield. The 5.56 millimeter round is accurate to nearly 600 yards. It is also lightweight, enabling troops to carry more ammo, increasing their volume of suppressive firepower. During the Vietnam conflict, the M16 came face-to-face with the AK-47, and the debate of which is better has continued to this day. Now, the good folks at Alexander Arms have combined the best of both sides into the Grendel. This is the AK-47. It's got a really good punch, but at distance, not as accurate as you would like. This is the M4. Now, very accurate, up to a pretty good distance, but doesn't have as much punch as the AK-47, and you'd like that. So, what do you need? Well, here is the Grendel. It fires a 6.5 millimeter round. Now, it claims to have as much punch, maybe more, than the AK-47, and reach out to greater distances more accurately than the 5.56 fired from the M4. Sounds good in theory. Now, it's time to put it to the test. This simple demo shows the Grendel's firepower. Cutting straight through the cinder block, it leaves a 4-inch cavity. If you are the target, you are no longer the threat.
I see that giving that troop that advantage or that little bit more of a capability is a great thing, a good thing.
Brad Dodds is a 20-year veteran of the United States Marine Corps.
I like the 6.5. I like the fact that it has less drift at a longer distance. I like the fact that it's got a little bit more knockdown power.
And it's taking nothing away from 5.56, which our guys are using to great effect. And it takes nothing away from 7.62. But if I could have a little bit of both in one round, you might be able to talk me into it.
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe willing to shred a few extra pounds and add some more ammo. Talk me into it, too.
Now, to get an idea of their capabilities, I'm going to give you a real simple demonstration. All right, what we're going to do here is a kinetic energy demonstration. First, I'm going to start off with the M4, which fires the 5.56. Now, we've put a certain amount of tension on those targets. I want to see if the 5.56 will actually knock those targets down. Then we'll move on to the 7.62 by 39 fired from the AK round. And then, last but not least, we'll throw the Grendel in there, fire that 6.5 millimeter round downrange, see what happens. First up, the M4. 3 rounds. And the target doesn't go down. Next, the AK-47. And that is exactly what you're looking for. Now it's time to shoot with the Grendel. I've got rid of the scope, put an iron sight back on it, so we make it nice and even. Just like that. One shot, one kill. It goes down, no longer a threat. That's because the Grendel's heavier bullet delivers more than twice the kinetic energy of the 5.56. And the bullet's aerodynamic shape cuts through the air more effectively than other rounds. With the Grendel still supersonic out to 1,200 yards, it easily outreaches the AK-47. This here is Grendel's handiwork. One shot, iron sight, pop, hits him in the chest, and the guy, he goes down. So, we got the accuracy of an M4 and the punch of an AK-47. That's all great in theory, but what does it mean in practice? Here's the scenario. We got a guy who's popping up and down. He's shooting AK-47. Now, I can time his pop, or, since I have the 6.5 Grendel, I'm gonna try and shoot through the doors and take him out. With the 5.56, this is an uncertain shot. At this range, shooting all the way through a car could prove difficult to accomplish. Now, I want you to know, this is not an easy shot. There's all kinds of metal in here. And I'm gonna demonstrate that. I thought I saw a reaction from the guy, so I think he looks like he's in a different position, which is perfect. Open it up. All right, we've really split up this hole nice and big. The question is, did we go through and hit the other side? As you can tell by the spider of the window and this big hole right here and him taking a nap, he's done. He's got shrapnel through here, shrapnel through there. Essentially, this guy is no longer a threat. The Grendel is a mythical beast that strikes terror into the hearts of its enemy. Tell you what, if I was hiding behind a vehicle, the Grendel is the last thing I want to face.